Alright, what's up you guys? So this video is for people who plan on fishing Santa Ana River lakes. I think some of the information on here will help people catch more fish, as well as cover some rare photos that show the underwater structure of the three lakes. But before we begin, if you find any of the information on this video helpful, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, as that really does help support me and grow my channel. So that being said, let's take a look at these photos. I also add some chapters in the timeline to separate the three lakes. So in 2011, they drained all three lakes to do improvements to the underwater pipes, as well as create several new peninsulas in the Catfish Lake. Now I got these photos from the Santa Ana River Lakes website. Now for those that don't know, there was a section of their website that they used to have as a blog, and this was one of the blog articles from back in the day in 2011. This first photo of the Catfish Lake shows the channel that comes from the Catfish Lake going into the large lake through the bubble hole. And I can show you here. Here is that channel, and that's feeding through the bubble hole into the big lake. Now this new pipe here flows into that channel coming from the two new peninsulas that they built here. So that pipe is probably either here or here, feeding into this channel, and that also feeds into the big lake. This next photo of the Catfish Lake shows Trout Channel, which actually we can see that pipe that they were talking about. So Trout Channel is actually right in here, so I'm guessing that pipe that we saw earlier is actually here, that's feeding into this channel that's going into the big lake through the bubble hole. Now this next photo is also of the Catfish Lake, shows the other peninsula that shows fishing on both sides of the peninsula. So that is this one here that gives you access to fish on both. Well, I'm not sure about now with this growth and stuff like that, but that is one of the two peninsulas that was put together back in 2011. Here is a picture of the wide Catfish Bowl, which I believe they now call Bass Cove. So that photo was taken as a perspective going this direction, and there it is right there. Now this next photo shows the rocky structure that's just below the Catfish Lake spillway, and I'll show you that here. It's basically that spillway right there. I know a lot of people tend to like to fish this area as well, so it's nice to see the structure just below it. This next photo shows some of the structure that's just to the left of the Catfish Lake spillway. You can see the rocks creating some nice structure for some of those nice big catfish to bunker down and call home. That area is probably right in this area. I remember fishing here several years back. Now here we're still in the Catfish Lake. This is a rocky structure that is over there close to the pump station. I believe we can pull it up here. Right here is where that structure is. Look at all those rocks. All right, here is another photo of the Catfish Lake. Shows a shallow ramp over here on Mike's Beach, actually Mike's Corner. You can kind of see the perspective here. Ooh, went wrong way. There you can see the boat in the background, so there's a shallow ramp right in that area. So you can kind of see the drop off and that ramp. Now here's an interesting fact. This is still the Catfish Lake, but this happens in both of the lakes. As they had both of the lakes completely drained, there was still water coming through these freshwater springs. And you'll notice that in both the Catfish Lake and the large lake, you'll see there are several areas of these freshwater springs, and these tend to hold schools of fish where these springs come in. All right, let's move on to Chris's Pond. This is a very popular spot over at Chris's Pond. Many of you guys love fishing here. In fact, this is usually one of the spots that people snag right from the get-go. So here are the nets, and you can kind of see here's the shallow water and rocky structure over there at Chris's Pond. So pretty crazy. You can kind of see, I know a lot of guys cast in this area here. Perspective for those of you guys who don't know where that location is. Here's Chris's Pond, and here are those nets. So if I flip this over, man, I'm going the wrong way. There are the nets. We're still in Chris's Pond. You guys can see just how deep this is, but in this particular picture, They made an improvement here. There used to be 3 pipes, is what they used to call it, and they now improved it into this single 8-foot tall pipe. And you can kind of see the perspective where it is. There are the yellow barrier pipes that a lot of people fish at, to kind of give you perspective just how deep and where this is located. All right, this next photo, still in Chris's pond. Here is where the yellow barrier pipes are. I know a lot of people like to fish this area, so you can kind of get an idea of what the structure is that you're casting into. Across the lake, this is also where I believe they call it like handicap zone. I find it kind of strange, but this is where they stock the fish, I believe, on this side. All right, here we go. So big lake time, you guys. A lot of you guys will recognize this fence right here. Yep, you guessed it, it's the bubble hole. So look at this shallow ramp that's going all the way across. A lot of people love fishing this area if you've got a rented boat or pontoon or the flow tubes. So a little perspective where that is at, if I can get my turns right. So yeah, so right here, you guys, here's the bubble hole. So that ramp is probably right in this area right here. So chain link fence, so that's probably wrapping around right here, and that's why this area is very popular and very good fishing. All right, so here's a second ramp, which is located just to the right of that last shallow ramp over by the bubble hole. So perspective, that's probably this guy right here. That other ramp was probably doing this, and this one is going right here. So this one here is creating some nice shallow, but also some drops right here. So if you're in a pontoon boat or one of the rental boats or a flow tube, this is also another good area. All right, those of you guys who love to fish the bubble hole in the big lake, this is exactly what it looks like. If you've ever wondered what it looks like underneath, here's some rocky structure, some shallow drop-offs here, and fresh water feeding in from the Catfish Lake. All right, here's another one of those freshwater springs. So this one over here is for a lot of the guys that like to fish Sandy Beach. So Sandy Beach has some of these freshwater springs that produce really good fishing areas along that bank right here. So I know a lot of people fish here, and that is due to these freshwater springs that, even though the lake was drained, kept bringing water into the lake. Here is another shot of some more freshwater springs. This one's closer to the bubble hole. So a combination of that structure, that ramp, as well as these freshwater springs at that bubble hole is why that particular spot is probably one of the most popular spots in the big lake. All right, let's head over to the other side of the big lake over at, well, it used to be called Levitt's Corner, but now it is Casa Corner, a spot where they do the stockings on Thursdays. Guys, I know you guys know it's shallow here because I know a lot of you guys fish here. Here's that shallow water, but look at this drop off right here. So I know a lot of you guys trying to cast out there. So this is a nice visual of exactly the structure of Casa Corner. Now this photo shows the same kind of depth and drop off. So nice and shallow. So here is Casa Corner coming all the way to the pump house. Same exact kind of structure all the way across. And then a nice drop off, a pretty decent drop off. So I know a lot of people love fishing Casa Corner all the way up to the pump house right here. So here's a shot of the pump house, which shows a shallow ramp that kind of goes across, which I know a lot of people love fishing here, and look at that drop off right there. All right, you guys, so that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Hopefully it gives you guys an idea of the different structures and a better perspective of each of the 3 lakes. Like I said earlier, guys, if you guys found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment down below, and even sharing it, as it will really help me grow this channel. In the meantime, I will talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.